特別番組として駐日ベルギー王国特命全権大使リュック・リーバウトさんと前橋市長の対談の模様をお送りします。
Today's Mayor's Talk will be held with the Belgium ambassador to Japan at the Tokyo, at his residence at Tokyo. Mr. Luc Riebout, Your Excellency, Ambassador Luc Riebout, thank you very much for sparing your time to have an interview with me, and I'd like to, I'm grateful to your kindness to let this interview set here at your private residence at Nibancho. It's very wonderful location and nice and cool residence you have. Thank you very much.
No. You are wholeheartedly welcome, Mr. Mayor. We met each other over the last year and a half several times, including several times in Tsu, and I thought it was nice for me to reciprocate your hospitality. So welcome at our embassy. We have been here since 1925.
1925, oh, very
in
old
a different
days.
building.
Yes, here.
Indeed, in Nibancho.
And you have you started a new project at here with the residence area and embassy and your private residence.
Yes. And we always had compounds. We had several different houses, but now we decided to make a modern building, high-rise, with at the top floor the residence of the ambassador, with offices, with reception space, with housing, apartments for the staff. We all live together. There are 11 apartments. There are 3 floors of offices, and we are well equipped to promote our country and to welcome our Japanese guests.
I see. And you have a collaboration with the other projects in this spot with a private sector for the new building.
Indeed, that corresponds to the needs of modern embassy.
I see. So you started living here. I know that at just after the big Japan earthquake in 2011, I know that you arrived just 4 days after that earthquake.
Indeed.
And you started working in Japan for now 3 years.
Correct.
And maybe I'd like you to let the audience know about your career and about your days in Japan first for 3 years.
Well, of course, I arrived in very peculiar circumstances. It was arrival was on the 14th of March. It was a period of mourning for Japan, but at the same time, a very active period because everybody, central authorities, provincial authorities, local authorities, the citizens whose lives had been shattered, were trying to come to terms with the new situation. And for me, a long time ago, before coming to Japan, I had imagined my beginning in Japan in very different circumstances. But I have to admit, with retrospect now, it gave me the possibility to experience firsthand a very strong fundamental characteristic of Japanese people, namely, yes, you can be hit by hardship. Yes, it is sometimes nature, you cannot control nature, but the history has taught the Japanese people that each time you can find in yourself and also in others, by working together, the strength to overcome hardship, even if this hardship has meant that you have lost precious family members, friends, or your own personal belongings.
Yeah.
So that was a very, it's one of the things that I will take with me long after I will have left Japan. That will stay with me, namely this very strong discipline, resilience, courage of Japanese people in adversity.
Thank you. And during those difficult times, your country gave us a big support to assist recovering from that big earthquake. Thank you very much for that.
We had one very nice project that we realized together with the Japanese Red Cross, namely thanks to contributions by our embassy, by our government, by the Belgian business community here in Japan. We contributed to the reconstruction of a hospital in Miyagi Prefecture. And it's a nice project. We decided to target one specific project, and less than 2 years after the events, the operation at the hospital was able to resume. And we are very proud of having contributed in this very humble and modest way to the reconstruction.
I see. So, recovering from that disaster, a new investment gradually being started since that day, and after that, for Japan, you know, the economy is recovering and promoting itself for the new investment to be promoted. So this time, Tsu City had a good opportunity to be invested by the Belgian company, which is a Japan micro firm, now Promat Japan, which is a ETEX group. And you had a very good support. You gave us a very good support for that investment. Thank you very much for that. And may I start about your support for this investment. But before that, I'd like to mention about the story of the Promat Japan.
Yes.
On February 28th last year, about 1 year ago, I met the CEO of Promat, Mr. Paul van Owen, and Mr. Stephen Haytens, who is in charge of the new investment. And they visited the city to look at a possible site for their new investment in Mie Prefecture, because they have a small factory at Yokkaichi City and they want to enlarge their equipment because they are doing so well in terms of the getting the order of their products. So, and I believed that the relationship from the earlier stage will enable both parties to foster trust and reach, and happily we reached to a successful result, business agreement. And you were very kind to be the witness of the signing ceremony of the agreement. That was maybe June 4th or last year. Thank you very much for visiting that at that time. So let me start by your impression about this investment by the Promat Japan to the city of Tsu, and maybe you had a strong support. You gave us a strong support for that, because that is very important for not only for us but also for your country to invest in the new investment for Japan, to
Correct.
Japan.
You are fully right, Mr. Mayor. Let me first start by mentioning that ETEX, the parent company of ProMat Japan, is a small multinational. They have 92 factories all over the world, one of them in 92. Japan. The one in Japan was in Yokkaicho, and it was too small. And so they were looking for a new building to produce their product. Preferably in Mie Prefecture, because they had good experience with the workers, with the staff they had, and they were looking for a possibility to acquire a bigger building to increase the production, but preferably in the same prefecture, not far from where they were. And I have to tell you that I am extremely grateful to you personally, Mr. Mayor, to the authorities of the city of Tsu and to the authorities of Mie Prefecture for having worked together with ETEX, with ProMat Japan, and with our embassy in trying to find a solution. I think the solution is mutually advantageous. It is a new life to an existing building. It was a factory. It's going to be a new state-of-the-art factory. It allows our company to continue to stay in Mie Prefecture, to keep practically all their staff, because with one or two exceptions only, all the staff that they had in Yokkaicho followed them to Tsu. And in order to have a very good, efficient organization, they even transferred the seat of the company, which was in Tokyo, to Mie Prefecture. So that means that Tsu will be, for their future expansions, not only the production site, but also the seat of the administration, the seat of the commercial activities. And I would only like to add one more thing, is that at the beginning, when they made the investment in Yokkaicho, practically the whole of the production was sold in Japan. It is the intention of ETEX to develop ProMat Japan not only as the producer of the products that they make for the Japanese market, but also to use Tsu as a production basis for exports outside of Japan to East Asian countries and to the ASEAN countries.
Yes.
And I think this proves that with all the positive developments that have taken place in Japan in the last 2 years, the position of Japan as a production center, and I'm not only talking about regional headquarters or R&D, but really about production, has been reinforced. And this has been recognized by ETEX, but also, what I hear from other colleagues, more and more by companies from other countries.
Yes, you're right. This successful case brought us the very fruitful result for their headquarters to be transferred to Tsu from Tokyo and Yokkaichi. And on top of that, we got an ETEX competence center for the whole of Asia. Correct. That is very nice case for us. So that's why I want to emphasize that the promoting investment to this city is very important for as a mayor to activate the local authorities' economy, of course, but also to have an excellent, advanced skills of that enterprise has, which is the innovative energy-saving solutions for the future, it is very important. So Belgian companies are very strong and very skillful about the innovative technology which is spread all over the world, and especially for the not only in the European area but also Asian countries.
True, Mr. Mayor. Energy, and especially energy saving, renewable energies as well, are a very promising field of cooperation between our two countries. And we can have, because we have very similar position with regards to energy. Neither Belgium nor Japan have a lot of classical fossil energies. We have no gas, we have no oil, so we have to rely on imports. But imports always have some risk, you do not control it. We have both given a lot of confidence to nuclear. Nuclear is important in Belgium as well as it is in Japan. But our population also feels that we should not depend too much on nuclear energy. And therefore we develop and promote renewable energy. Wind in the first place, biomass and others. And we see the same in Japan, where also after the 11th of March, one rethinks the energy mix and where renewables, but also energy saving, meaning insulation. Better insulate your house so that you lose less warmth in winter and you remain cool in summer, are very important. And ETEX caters to this, I think, new requests from the industry and from the individuals to reduce our dependence on energy by, amongst others, not only developing new sources, but also better insulation.
I see. So you have a very skillful technology, and maybe that is because of the situation that Kingdom of Belgium have and also Japan has, because you know that the new technology in terms of the innovative energy solution is very important for the future, of course, and that's why the manufacturers are trying to be involved in that new technology. So maybe I'd like to thank you again about your presence at the opening party of the Promat Japan in March this year, and your presence gave us a big confidence that the Promat and the city had a good agreement because as a witness you visited the signing ceremony, and on top of that as a guest you visited again in city of Tsu to celebrate their new departure of the of their new investment. Thank you again for your presence.
It was really a great pleasure.
Okay, let me change a little bit about the subject to talk. And I personally had an experience to work for the Franco-Belgian company, which was at the time, but now it's a pure Belgian company, bank, which was Dexia. And I had a chance to visit Brussels several times, and that was my precious experience to work for a European bank, because the market is international, of course, but the Dexia had a very good tradition as a retail bank to be trusted by the people in Belgium, and also they have Dexia had not past tense, has an enough presence at the international market in Europe. And maybe that was my private experience. But you know that now not only the industrial product economy, but also the financial, in terms of the financial institutions in Europe, they have enough possibility or enough skill to spread their business, not only in Europe, but also to all over Japan, including, of course, US and Japan and China and so on. What do you see about the whole of the economy in Europe? You have some impression about the recent situation in terms of the economy, world economy, maybe.
Well, I think for sure the United States has renewed with growth. Mm-hmm. Japan is renewing with growth. This year
Japan is renewing. Yeah.
Is renewing with growth. This year will be, I think, a good economic year for Japan. Mm-hmm. And for us, this will, in Europe, this year will be a crucial year. Mm. We were bottoming out last year. Mm. We were severely hit by the first Lehman shock, and then the economic crisis. Mm. We are bottoming out. I think we have bottomed out at the end of last year, and the forecasts, and I now refer to the IMF and the OECD forecasts, say that in Europe, the northern part, including Belgium, will have a growth of around 1.5%. Germany might even have 2%. So the southern part, the growth will be a little bit lower, but will again be growth after the hardship of the last years. But as I said, this year we will most probably renew with growth, but I hope that the prognosis will be right at the end of the year. As you have said yourself, sometimes political events, sometimes economic events can have an impact, not even within your own area, but also the influence of events happening outside our area. So we hope that indeed the positive economic trends will be confirmed. As I said, growth in the United States, renewing with growth in Japan, and hopefully also renewing with growth in Europe. We have to be honest. We need a good political environment for that, meaning peace and stability and not no crisis, no major crisis. And we also need to take some positive measures, like negotiating additional free trade agreements to open up the potentialities of our different markets. In this year's or this century's situation, we are all part of a global economy, and we all have to try to work together, not only for the good development of our own country, but the good development of our own country sometimes also depends on the development of our economic partners.
Thank you very much for giving me your view about the economy worldwide. And so maybe I'd like to emphasize that it is very important for the local authorities, for the mayor of the local authority to continue promoting investment to the city of Tsu, and maybe that will be the crucial key to activate the local economy, of course. Looking at the worldwide economy, but concentrate on the local economy is very important as a mayor. So
I fully agree, and in that your attitude is exactly the same as our local authorities in Belgium. I think at the beginning of our talks, we briefly talked about bilateral relations. And I told you that we are very fortunate to have 300 Japanese investments in Belgium.
300, yeah.
300 Japanese we are in our country. The first ones arrived in the 60s. At the beginning of the 60s. Honda was one of the first ones to come. Many others have followed and continue to follow because basically in the end it is important that we all as government, local officials, we help create employment for our people so that they have a job and they can build their lives.
Thank you very much. Let me keep in touch with you, and
with pleasure.
Maybe your big support will enable us to another new investment from your country, and maybe I'd like to promote your view to the enterprises in Tsu City that Belgium is good to invest. Okay.
Indeed. And also, we are promoting, thanks to this very successful investment, the image of Mie Prefecture and Tsu City as welcoming foreign investments, open to foreign investments, and as giving this as an image and as a message to the business world in Europe.
Thank you very much. I promise to continue making our efforts to give the good hospitality to all the
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
new investment. Mr. Riebout, thank you very much for this interview.
Thank you very much for your visit, Governor. It was a pleasure hosting you at our embassy.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.